There are voices that inform, there are voices that entertain, and then there are voices that transform. Voices so clear, so compelling, so carefully crafted that when they speak, you stop everything you're doing and listen. Voices that don't just deliver words, they command rooms, shape perspectives, and change lives. For over 3 decades, Nigerian media has had one of those voices, Adesuwa Onyenokwe. If you've watched Nigerian television and you've read about women's empowerment, if you've attended a high-profile corporate event in Nigeria, you know her. Morning Ride on NTA, one-on-one, seriously speaking on Channels TV, TW Conversations on Africa Magic Showcase. She's the founder and editor-in-chief of Today's Woman's Magazine, Nigeria's leading women's lifestyle publication for over 17 years. She's a seasoned journalist, an event anchor, an elocution trainer, a communications coach, a writer, an interviewer par excellence. Oh, I love it. But here's what makes her stories essential. She didn't just build a career in communication. She's built platforms for women. She became the megaphone for voices that needed amplification. On her 58th birthday, she launched Her, Happy, Empowered, Rich, an intensive mentoring initiative focused on enabling women to discover their true selves and use their platforms to impact their circles of influence. She didn't stop there. She's a certified integrative life harmony coach, trained in NLP and EFT. She's also an alumni of the Olushola Lanre Coaching Academy. Ooh, she's highly sought after. I mean, lest we can keep going with the accolades and how phenomenal she is. But you'll find out as we speak to her. This is the Green Room Diaries. This is where we sit with women who have mastered their craft and using their mastery to lift others. My name is Adiola Kingsley James, and welcome, Mrs. Adesuwa Onyenokwe. Thank you for coming to join us on the Green Room Diaries today.
Joining us?
Yes, you're coming to join us. You know, I've had so many wonderful people come, so that's why in my head is like, it's more than me.
Yeah,
because I represent a whole community of beautiful women. Mm-hmm. So it's an us situation.
I feel it. I feel you.
Thank you.
I feel you. I'm
welcome.
active.
You're active.
I just learned that on set today.
Love it. We're all active today. So I want us to start from the very beginning.
The start of the very beginning.
Yes. It's a beautiful place to start. Let's go back to your love for the media. How did it start?
Sometimes they say some things are just kind of innate,
okay,
right? I never saw anybody do anything media.
Okay.
But I always interacted easily at home, right? To the extent that I'm interacting with the trees, the leaves, and we're acting and we're hitting them. You shut up, you sit down as a child. Right. But I think actively, and I've shared it on several platforms, and I'll share it again because I never get tired of saying it. Actively, it occurred to me I could do this as a profession, because I thought I'd be a teacher or something, or a lawyer or whatever. But it occurred to me that I could actually take this love for speaking and make it a job, where it was more helping people understand. That's why I watched an ad that made me realize audiovisual is something. You put sound and you put pictures and you tell a message in a very short time. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do public relations and advertising.
Right.
However, journalism found me because I was posted to go and do my youth service in Sokoto then several years ago.
Okay.
And I really didn't want to go. And I was home for a month before my father said, aren't you going? I said, what am I going to do in Sokoto? I've heard that it's full of flies, it's horrible, it's hot. And then one day he came and said, you're still here? Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I have a friend who works with NTA here. I'm going to ask him if he knows anybody working, whether he can get you a job in NTA Sokoto as a youth service, because I'd done dramatic arts as my first degree with a specialization in public relations and advertising.
Okay.
And so I ended up in Sokoto and got there. And one of these days you're hanging out in the office and there's nobody to do something. And then somebody says, okay, can somebody carry tapes, those big, you know your dad and your mom, big, huge tapes. And I
And
go
run.
around with them and we get on set and they're doing a youth show and there's nobody to hold the microphone. Okay, this is what I take. So I fell in love with that.
Oh, nice.
So that became the trajectory I wanted to take television. That's why television happened. So of course I came back home. When I came back home, the only opening I could get immediately as a job, because I didn't want to come to Lagos, but I knew I would ultimately end up in Lagos.
Okay.
That's where all the commercials were coming from.
Right.
I got a job as a teacher, which was temporary for about like a year. I was waiting for an opening at the local television station. So I was teaching. I mean, how old was I? Maybe 20 or 21, teaching. And then the opening came for newscasting, not reporting. And I said, well, that is still one leg in. So I got one leg in into it was called Edo Broadcasting Service because I was born in Ibadan, raised in Benin.
Okay.
So I grew up in Benin.
Okay.
And so Edo Broadcasting became my first place where I actually had a job, where I was a newscaster.
Right.
Then at a point, they needed reporters I think Babangida was coming to Benin at that time. And so I got on the trail and I fell in love with that as well. But the beauty is you can be a reporter and a newscaster.
At the same time.
And then marriage brought me to Lagos eventually. Okay. And I transferred my service to the Nigerian Television Authority. And then the rest is history, baby.
There you go. So I was speaking to my mom on one of the episodes as well. And I asked her how she also got into broadcasting because it wasn't something that she had either trained for or was even interested in. She was doing, stage and all of that. And almost
Your
like
mom
the
did
same,
stage?
Yeah, she studied stage lighting and, theater. She wanted to be a performing actress.
What?
Yeah, so she went to school for
I didn't realize that.
For theater. And then I think she said during those days, some people also were not able to do certain things. So they asked them, okay, all of you that are here, you choose the one you want to do. And she used to read poetry during her time. And then one of the days, okay, they're going national. Okay, let's get fresh voices, fresh faces. And then they put her there. But it was almost like she was being trained as she was going along on the job. However, she also mentioned how important it was for them to be very trained. Yeah, in terms of
good
pronunciation,
at what you did.
how you look and all those things. How was it in your time? And what training did you get in readiness for all the roles that you could now naturally, supposedly fit into?
So I think the best training you can get is to put yourself under somebody, right? It was not formal. It was like a mentorship kind of thing.
Right.
When I decided I was going to be a reporter, right? First of all, the first thing I did, I remember the first person who gave me the microphone to do that youth program was Danla Dibako. He's now a traditional ruler somewhere.
Yes.
And he would say, you hold the microphone close to your mouth, you do this, and make sure that when you're talking, except the camera is on you, we just on the job.
Right.
And then when I got here, literally the same thing. People who you worked under were more or less like your mentors, if you are willing to listen. I remember the very first time that I went out to do an event and I came back and I sounded the word laboratory.
That's Nigerian
laboratory.
Word. Yes, laboratory.
And then Auntie Sene called me into the corner. I mean, I'd done the report. It was on air. She's a newscaster. I was a reporter. That word is laboratory.
That's it.
I'm like, wow, thank you. And beyond that, she says, look, the syllable, the emphasis is on the second syllable.
Right.
Laboratory. Aha. So I learned it. I could have been upset, but I learned it.
Yes.
And to do NTA some justice, for everybody who had to do some speaking on television, we used to have older people come and train us.
Right.
However, you can be trained and not take it.
That's it. I am one of those kind of children.
But when you have to do it, you will do it, actually. Or you learn by assimilation. Take, for example, you see you're not trained, but you assimilate from those around you. You're surrounded by people, your father, your mother. And I mean, if you didn't want to be, what do you say now? Awed by what they had achieved in life, you are taking something out of them without realizing
yes, absolutely. I know that I wasn't wise enough at some point in my life
to just learn intentionally.
Yes, to take.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Erase their name from my name because I felt like I didn't want a situation whereby people would give me work based on whose I was.
I get it.
I didn't know better.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if, yes, I'm happy that I was able to prove my my
The metal.
worth to myself and then to others. But I also could have used the name a little bit more if I had knew. Right. And so so when I look at her craft and then I look at your I'll say your generation, because I kind of feel like you're all in the same generation.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of openness to learning that I see from your generation. I think there was the professionalism of it, which is you had to be professional and there were certain standards that had to stay that I'm not sure that I see right now. And maybe you can agree or disagree with me as I go along. In terms of the training, I mean, now for actors, you see content creators who believe they're actors and they don't go and train for it because they have numbers. So when you now see them, you're like, it almost feels like the industry is somewhat being watered down by certain new things that are happening. But yes, as we're embracing them, can we also be professionals? What do you think about that?
Well, the thing is, in our Insta world, right, it's okay to be able to take a phone for those of us who are in other screen media. Even nowadays, everything is like Murphy, you know, and sit down and record something and put it up, right? It has its place. And the world will filter the ones that don't know what they're doing,
right,
and the ones that know what they're doing. So if you're good, even if you do start that way, you're better off going to try to get some level of, let me learn, even if it's silently. If you're ashamed to say you're learning from somebody, you say, but sis, how do you do it?
Yes.
Or pay money to go somewhere, go to someone or go somewhere that they can take you through. But you will still own it. You know, like the Bible says, there's nothing new under the sun.
Absolutely.
But you take what is under the sun that has been done before and you do it your own way.
That's it.
But you have to learn from what's been done before you can improve on it. So we cannot feel like we know more than those who have gone ahead of us. It's impossible. They say a master cannot be less than a teacher. A student can't be more than a master.
Right.
You can come and do it better in a different way.
Eventually, yes.
But you cannot, because they have their niche. Right. In fact, interesting that my husband was just asking me today. You are going again. This fit. All you old people, aren't you people tired? What's happening all to?
Why not?
All to the 40? No, I beg you, you're not in my category.
Sorry.
What has happened to all the 40
Okay, I've
something
relaxed.
year olds? You know what I mean? What are they doing? Why you guys still? I said, no, I'm just going to be interviewed this time. So we're actually letting go. We want to see people like you, younger people. We want to see people come and own the space. We never retire. I mean, I don't think I'm going to retire until we're going to transform into doing something else. You know what I mean?
I think retire means you're tired twice. So I don't even use that word. So it's either you're refired or refined.
I love that.
One,
I love that.
Any of the two is fine.
And they can change. You can be refired here.
Exactly.
Can be refined here.
So retire is not a word that I use. And you just get better. And maybe, like you said, allow other people, but you still have your place. Absolutely. Right? In the mentoring.
You're not going to kill all of us, are you?
No, we're not ready. We love you still. We have our space. But sometimes, I see younger, I guess my mates, and then also younger, that you kind of say to them, okay, you need to listen to the older ones. And you hear, what do they know? And I'm like, before you were. They were. So there's yes, I know that because things are morphing, we have moved from analog to digital and then AI and all of that. But there's still principles that work from then that can still function today. Yeah. Right? Absolutely. And yes, there's still new ones. I'm sure, I don't know about you with your kids, but my mom is constantly asking, so which one can I check now? Who is the... And she's 72, but Gemini is her best friend. Auntie Claudette, as I call her. So she's always open. Once again, I like to use that word because some people are not open to learning. Yeah. And how have you seen broadcasters, because there are not that many left in your era as well.
True.
I was saying to my mom that
and many left in this space.
Within the industry,
because
yes.
They're older broadcasters, they just are not public.
Are they working?
No, they're not working because, I tell you something, for example. I look forward to the day I'm going to bring all of them. I think about Auntie Siene,
right,
Auntie Ruth Benemesia,
right,
or people who are even younger than your mother is, just slightly, they're in the same generation.
Right.
But they just haven't done what your mother has done.
Right.
Which is constantly trying to learn. Maybe because she has daughters like you.
Possible.
Because I also think I probably wouldn't be that way if I didn't have children who were pulling me in that direction. You know, AI, you have to
learn this one.
Maybe if I didn't have to earn an income, I had to earn an income. I had to learn how to, be still relevant in this world, because I still have to earn an income.
Yes.
If I didn't have to, maybe I wouldn't bother.
I'm
So
happy you
great
mentioned that.
people.
I'm happy you mentioned income, because that's another place of. I remember asking, I can't remember who said it, but one of the advices they were going to give their younger selves, I think it might have been my mom as well, who talked about money, saving, replenishing, increasing, expanding,
And compounding.
And also because what I said to her was, I've seen a lot of my father's contemporaries who, when they were ill, they were out begging.
Yeah.
I've gone to the National Theatre and I see them sleeping under the tree, How, it's almost like focusing on the craft, but not focusing on the business of
money.
it.
Yeah.
And so as you mentioned it now, if you had your way and all your bills were paid, would you still be doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. Then I'll be doing it. I mean, I kind of like I'm at that point.
Right.
It's just that I have grown to realize that I do have value and I do give value, and therefore I must get value for it.
Right.
It's not because I need to pay house rent or buy ticket to travel. I can do all of those things for myself. But I like to feel that for whatever value I give you, you must place value on it.
Right.
Because what people get for free, they don't appreciate.
Even the Bible
and that's our
says
problem. That's our problem in our industry.
Yeah.
Those of us in our generation, we just did our job. Most of us were civil servants. There
Yeah.
was no room to explore.
Right.
And therefore, you had your salary promised you at the end of the month.
Right.
It was tiny.
Right.
It was useless.
Right.
But we enjoyed the job.
Right.
And so we had that salary, and we'll just survive.
Right.
We found ourselves
Around
friends
it.
and
Yes,
working and just
yes,
happy.
yes.
Nobody was looking at it. One is driving a
Hummer Jeep.
and some of us were going boss. We didn't see anybody. Yeah, we were fine. But now, the kind of competition that exists, man, you will find people who are also content creators who are driving some fantastic things.
Living in.
And then you find those who maybe they actually have the craft, they have nothing because they don't have the views.
Right.
People are not watching them because they're not saying the things they want to hear.
Right.
People are not advertising, so it's a different thing. So they must be under different kind of pressure. I just said, thank God that I'm not in this generation now struggling to make money. But if you want me, you will still pay for me.
Yeah.
So if I was starting today, I'm not sure how I would navigate that space. That's why people need to come together and support each other.
Yes.
And we need more community support.
Right.
More today than ever before. Because the world is like a wild place.
But women don't talk about money. Why do you think so? You see men sit down and they're cracking deals. So how much? Okay, 10 billion. They're happy.
It's changing, darling.
But with women, we don't even share how much we earn.
Yeah.
I've noticed that. I remember one young girl who put up a post that she was doing a role as an actress with some guy, and only to find out she was talking to the guy, and that's how the guy just said, "Oh, this is what I'm paid." And he had been paid maybe like 7 times
her own
what she had agreed to. And of course, they said to her, "We don't have money." The same lines of the same stories, our budget is. And she agreed to it, only to then find out that they were paying this guy this. But she never would have found out if, one, she didn't ask. And she was, but I've noticed that amongst women, it's not something we're able to do. Why do you think so?
That's why one of the things that most communities that help women today do is teaching them negotiation skills. First of all, there's no apology about knowing that you have value. Even I had to get to the point that I realized that, man, girl, you got value. And you can place a value on it. People can either pay or not pay. But let's not dwell on whether they can say it or not.
Right.
What they must realize is that you must be able to know what's happening in the industry.
Right.
You must know what you bring.
Right.
And you must put a value to it. I mean, when I started coaching, I started off at 25K per hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 25K per hour because I was like,
I'm helping,
like something. Today I charge 250K per hour.
Right.
And there's no apologies because
Right.
you know how hectic you're talking to one person for one, your head is almost exploding.
Exactly. And they tell you things that you're
Things that you
thinking,
can't-
why me?
Oh my God. I said, it's better for me to have 1 hour and I get 250K and I
Yes.
help that person. I have
Yes.
10 hours from
Yes.
10 different people.
Yes.
Nah.
Yeah.
So as you go, what I'd say is people should realize what is the value that you bring first, not just charge money. What's that you bring into the person? So what would you be willing to pay for that thing? And then, but if you find out, ask, what are people charging? When I was charging 25K, I'd heard that people were charging even this 250 I'm charging
Right.
today. But I felt,
How would I?
Besides the fact that, yeah, you are popular, they know you. Who cares? You're
Right.
the coach. It's a different name.
Right.
It's a different ball game.
Right. And
So,
different space.
You know what I mean? So, but with experience, I realized that 25K, you're even doing yourself a disservice and your client a disservice.
Absolutely.
Because you can never give your client the best.
And if you're the best, you can't be the cheapest.
Yeah, true. So whether it's acting
If you're one of
or
the best,
presenting or
yes,
whatever,
yes.
so just do it. But ask what the people are doing. They will say no. Say, look, I want 1 million. They don't give you. Then you go and renegotiate or think again and say, okay, maybe I should take 750 for now.
Right.
But please, money is important. Talk about it, discuss it, find out what people are doing. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in it.
But it's once again, just like you mentioned about being a coach, I used to also think that, since we're helping, let's help people for free. And the mentors that I had then, and one of the mentors is also my mother, who I've also watched would do certain things
For free.
And for free. And at some point, I used to fight with her to say, why? Like, look at this young lad who just came 2 years ago. Look at what he charges, right?
Like for anchoring, for
Yes,
example.
to anchor an event.
When I hear people charge this,
Do you
I'm like,
understand?
oh my goodness.
So now I said to her, you're not going to talk about money again. I'll help you
I'll
do the
do it.
talking, right? So you find out, are you free?
Do you
If
take a
she calls me-
percentage?
I do. I do.
So you have to
Because also it's also
book it
work
out.
that I'm doing for her.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Before I didn't used to get a percentage, but now I'm like, So she's
bringing value
yeah, she's
here.
agreed. So if you want me to negotiate, because I'm very okay with just calling a figure. I'm not like you. I don't ask what's happening in the industry. I just go straight to what I think
Should be
this
your-
work.
your worth.
And I think it's because I believe in my head that there are 4 levels of value. And the lowest level is the implementation level, which is what we're doing here, right? Doing the work. That's the lowest level. The second lowest level is I'll call it unification, which is supervision.
everybody does it.
People. But the third level, the third and the second to the highest level is communication. How do I communicate what is in my head with you for you to be
understand.
persuaded
Absolutely.
to do it? And then the highest level is imagination.
That's where the biggest money
That's
is.
where the money, but we don't see the money there
That's
because
why-
we think implementation is the highest
Absolutely.
level.
That's why one person can anchor an event one way, another can anchor a different way.
Absolutely.
No two people can be the same.
Absolutely. So when you then, if for example, you're called to speak and you say, oh, this is my rate. And you hear for what? Is it not just to, because all they're thinking of is the day you show up and you speak for 30 minutes. They're not thinking of all the other times that you have invested in the conversation.
In building
It's
yourself.
like you asked me to come and speak in 1 month's time. From the day we talk,
It's in your head.
I started to think about it.
Yeah.
What do I want to wear? Do I have it? Should I make it? How do I want people to feel? What colors should I? And so all of that is imagination. But we put 0 to that.
Thank you, dear. I've just found a way to. You see, you have given me free master class.
I know.
You're paying 80% for imagination.
Yes. And
5% for then the
For the rest,
implementation is just 5%.
It's 5%. It's
You're
not
right.
less than 5%.
You're right.
Because
I
my
get
showing
it.
up that day seems like
get
it's
it.
not a big deal.
And
But the entire process, right, of going through it and saying, okay, this is what, this is how I will stand. This is how I will dance. This is how I will. We have watered that down. And so maybe that will help anybody listening to us right now
Absolutely, yes.
that thinks, oh, maybe I shouldn't charge for this. Maybe you should. Because the time that you have spent in creating, nobody can see that. It's intangible.
so imagination,
Communication,
communication,
unification,
and implementation.
Yes. That's the way
4
I see it.
levels.
Yes, 4 levels of value. Okay, so we're going to go back to, I'm happy with the way that we've talked about it. I remember we're having a conversation before we started this, and you had mentioned how it's unfortunate that a lot of things that were done by
my generation.
your generation, unfortunately, because it wasn't deposited online, people are now having to struggle with the information or the work that you did. So that when I say, oh, do you know Adesuwa Onyenokwe? And people say, no, I don't. I say, okay, go and Google her. But fortunately, you've got some recent work.
Yeah.
So you have Today's Woman, you had Strictly Speaking. That was the title of the show.
No.
Seriously Speaking. It's Strictly Speaking. That is my mother's own.
Yes, that's a book.
Yes. So, but you have some current things that you've done. But
Yeah.
for people who were in the 90s, you mentioned Ruth
Anti-CNN.
Benemisia, you mentioned Anti-CNN. Nobody remembers them or nobody knows.
Fumi Odubekun.
Aside
These are
the-
people who are still alive. Lola Lakija. People who were
Yes,
really good. Chris
yes.
Anyanwu. Chris Anyanwu became a senator and moved on.
Right.
So it is sad that we don't have the body of work to reference.
Yeah.
But that's why I say that the responsibility should really have been ours, keeping our work. But we're just working. We're not thinking about documenting it so that one day can become something. You can imagine how excited my kids were when somebody fished out, I don't know who, some people are doing some throwback things on social media.
Okay.
They fished out a picture of me in the early days of my low cut doing one-on-one on NTA.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, the kid that saw that video wasn't born when my last daughter wasn't born when that video, when that recording was done.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, it's so nice to see this, I wished we had kept it. But what that means though, and what I would like to tell those who are recording content today is to realize that whatever you put online is there forever.
Right.
So be careful what you are producing. Right. If you are there doing skits that make you look stupid, if 30 years down the line you don't want to look stupid, that's going to be part of your history.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want, it's okay. But just remember, because the fact that there's history helps people to realize that there were people before me. But history is as told by the person who's telling it. Yeah, who's telling it. So you only see my own side of it. Yeah. So how you respond to it is good. So it would be nice. I just see sometimes, do I want to be recognized? Not because, of more for what I have been able to contribute to those around me. If you want to talk about me being a reporter, always and ever, my desire was to have people to go away with something, right? And that's always been my desire, that when you experience me, either through my work or my personality or being with me, you must be able to go away with something that speaks to who I am. What it becomes for you is entirely your business. But you know what I mean?
Your own intention is. And how did you get that thought process?
The truth is, at the beginning, it's the environment which you grow. Okay. My parents, we live in a home that was open. Okay. Everybody, my mother was a social worker. My father was a civil servant who was the oldest son of his mother. So he literally brought up people. Our house was full of human beings. Right. And there was a lot of equity and justice and jostling and sharing of Coca-Cola and sharing of bread and egg. You couldn't get a whole egg. So in that space, we had to be lawyers, actors, reporters. In a large family, you have one person that is doing all of those things. Right. I was a reporter.
Right.
There are those who are already. There are those who are the educators. Yes. There are those who are so that kind of home kind of like opened my mind up to being an open person, to wanting the other person to grow. So it wasn't competition that I grew up. I mean, healthy competition.
Right.
It wasn't.
At best.
Yes. There was some competition. So we become who we are, that. Yeah. You've written books around this based on the environment that we grew. However, we can always reprogram our lives.
Absolutely.
Right? But only after examining what we have and determining what works better. That's what's missing in our world, where we do not actually, even I, with all my whatever I wasn't really intentional about anything until I became a life coach. I wasn't really intentional. Things happened to me, right? But then I realized that if you sit down and look at what your life was, it wasn't accidental.
Right.
You could have a bit...
Eventually, yes. Delayed but not denied.
Yeah.
And how did you morph from journalism... For me, I always like to put myself out there. I needed help.
Yeah.
And seeking help showed me that, There are a
There
lot
may
of people behind me.
Yeah.
Now, I could have just done it for myself. I don't even know who sent me though, because I just thought this thing did so well for me, especially when I did hypnotherapy. And I thought to myself, if this could have helped me this much, maybe there's so many other people that I can help. And then I decided to go and train for it as well. Was there a time in your life where you felt, okay, I need this, and based on that, I can now use it to help other people?
Quite frankly, it was just the desire to make money.
Oh.
That's what started it all off.
Okay.
And that's because a friend of mine came and said, that's why, you can make a good coach. I said, oh, really?
Okay.
And again, you see, I get asked questions ever. How did you do this? So I started to think, how am I doing what I'm doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? How did you do it? How did you do it? How did you do it? So this friend says, sis, a younger friend, look, you have it. You can ask questions. Go and train to be a coach. Right. So for me, it was really, I said, really? Yeah, you can make money. You charge, you sit down and doing this talking, you're interviewing people, you learn the skills. So it was strictly to make money.
Oh, wow.
But in the course of doing that, I was coached as well.
Of course.
And I realized that, my goodness, my life that I thought was an accident really, accident, but it was, if I had been more intentional, I would have gotten much more out of life. Which is why I tell people, even if you think your life is coasting, you need to have that specialist that sits you down. Because today, what is my coaching primarily is life harmony.
Right.
The harmony of life, where most times people look at me, how did you become a wife, a mother, a journalist, a this, a that, busy? It's like I got it all together. No, I don't.
Who does?
Yes, I don't. But I look like I do. So if you want to look like you do, come to me.
Right.
I'll help you see that life can be, you see, we run a rat race, right? And I realize what has made me what I am more than anything is my faith first.
Okay.
So that faith has helped to ground me to an extent where I am a bit intentional on that side.
Right.
So when I mix that with my coaching, man, explosive.
Let's talk about that, faith and coaching. I've had people walk up to me and ask me, are you a Christian therapist? I tell them no. They say, but you're a Christian. Yes. And you're a therapist. Yes. And you're not a Christian therapist. No, I'm not. I'm separate from
you do know,
what you think
you
it
do
is.
know that there's a space for counseling.
Oh, yes.
Counseling is a Christian.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I do all. I counsel, I do
Absolutely.
all the spectrum. But it was just the mentality that I wanted to correct. That you are not in the faith of Christianity does not mean that you're not a good coach.
Absolutely not.
So I want us to talk about, but I also understand the importance of spirituality and the faith, because really the entire journey of life, I believe, is a journey back to self.
Yeah.
And that journey back to self is
Journey
by
back to
knowing
God,
who
man.
exactly
It's journey back to
whose you
God,
are
yeah.
to know. But unfortunately, it just seems like a whole cycle of life for you to eventually find that I'm coming back to know me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work through faith or teach faith in your coaching that makes it more effective to the people listening, and showing from, of course, how it has helped you?
Fine. It's easier for you if somebody says, okay, you're a Christian, so we understand each other, so
Right.
it's easier. I say, okay,
Right.
we're Christian. But
Right.
it's beyond being Christian, because even Christ, right, that we follow,
Dealt with
wasn't a
different
Christian.
people. So,
He wasn't a Christian, but he just had the certain values
Yeah.
that he wants us to live. So those of
Yeah.
us who live by those values are
Yes,
Christians.
yes.
So, and because we met him. Some people didn't meet him, and they probably never will meet him, but they may hold those values. Take Mahatma Gandhi, for example. But they still hold those values, right? So those values are what should connect you when it comes to coaching. You see, I say religion is what probably your parents and the people around you give
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Faith is what you find.
Absolutely.
You find faith and you say, okay, this
And
one
it's
suits
personal.
me. It is personal. That's why even as we learned, as Christians,
Yeah.
the Bible that we have says, God says, I breathe in you. All of us have the breath of God. We just have to identify with it. But so if it makes it easier for somebody to say, okay, my coach is Christian, therefore I want to go to my coach. No, go to your coach because he or she has been trained to help you get the kind of clarity you would get on your own. And it's beyond, I don't know whether in our times past it was more or less like auntie or uncle talking to you, but it has to be an auntie and uncle that is not your relation.
But also has, even if it's your relation,
He knows what to do with what he hears.
and also knows what to tell you to do.
Absolutely.
Because are people teaching you from
therapy.
pain, or are they teaching you from their healing?
That's right.
I've heard some people advise certain people, and I've looked at them and said, that advice you give that person.
So you find that
it's worse.
most coaches end up in the area where they have lived the life.
Yeah.
But they learn the tool, they get the tools. The
Yeah.
training gives you the tools to be
Yeah.
able to share. Because
Yeah.
you see where I'm coaching now,
Yeah.
people who are doing life harmony, I had to live life harmony.
Yeah.
No matter how scattered it seemed like
Yeah.
it did. So it must have looked like that to others. And they're saying, okay, how can I do it like you? Don't go crazy. And I say, like this. And I have,
Do you have mentors, or do you have people that you coach within the media space that are, or are they just, because it's
for
important.
free, yes. I have
For
a
free.
few of, yes, for free. I mean, that's where that's the free,
Right.
Where
So do you
without
call it free? I don't like that word free.
No, I
call
pro
it
bono.
community service.
Oh, well, pro bono, because I mean, it's not that way. You're not saying because you paid me, I'm giving it to you. If I
Right.
say that you actually have the need.
Right.
And because you have to, because the reason we say people pay is that you have to invest time. You don't
Yeah.
just tell me and you are coming. We sit down seriously for
Yeah.
1 hour. I give
Yeah.
you assignments.
Yeah.
You work
You
with it.
must
You
do
don't
it.
tell me. So if you pay me,
You'll
you
be
are more
serious.
likely to show up.
And the more they pay, the
The
more
more
show
they will
up.
be so serious, and they come out and say, "I didn't know it to be so great." I mean, take for example somebody who came for just communication training, not coaching, because she had an issue she thought was an issue.
Right.
I brought it down. I said, "This is what you actually need to do." When we sat down, after about 3 or 4 sessions, she came back and said, "So I can't believe it.
Right.
That is, I'm like a new person." I said, "Yeah, but you have to live. They don't know until they try. Because if you didn't pay, man." You will show up. I'll be calling you every day. For
You
example,
will be
when
begging
I do corporates and the company has paid.
Yes.
You be calling, are you showing up today? They'll be saying, maybe like.
Because the corporate is the organization that paid, not the person.
That's what I'm telling you. It's not from your pocket.
Yeah, it's not from your pocket. Do you have children within the industry by any chance?
Which of the industries?
Your media industry or coaching industry?
No, I do
Or
not.
training
I do
industry?
not. I do not. And it's not unfortunate. It's not because they haven't. I do not. My first daughter, because I have one biological. I have two. I call them. My first daughter is not biological.
Yes.
But my biological first daughter,
Yes.
at some point said, "Okay, I'm going to try out this TW thing," because it was a magazine I was
Yes.
doing, and she came, but she'd lived abroad for most of her adult life, and it
Right.
just wasn't the same thing.
Right.
I'd spent my life doing pro bono work. I said, "Mama, I can't do it like this, man. I can't do this. It's crazy."
Yeah.
But they have the ability to.
right.
But whether they will end up here, I don't know.
know.
They've started their own little conversations and all of that. But
Right.
they're like you, exploring themselves,
Yes.
finding ways that they
Yes.
can't. But as good communicators, I'll say maybe a couple of them are like that.
And you mentioned, of course, your
Magazine.
TW magazine. You've done Seriously Speaking. You had the magazine. You had the TW conversations at some
Yeah,
point.
that was done. And now, that was just one of those
So
things.
what has happened? You seem to have morphed in different ways. So what happened to Seriously Speaking? You ran
Okay.
that for quite a lot, a bit for several years.
The thing is, when you don't own media, it can be a challenge. You know that.
Right.
So most of the things I did was collaboration, just
Right.
me enjoying myself
Right.
doing what I was doing.
Right.
For example, I shot TW Conversations because Mnet wanted some kind of, they didn't want
Show.
they wanted conversations around women. I said, okay, I could do that. They pay some pittance, but hey, look, I enjoyed doing it. And they said when they're done, I can take it somewhere else. So I collaborated with the studio. We got recordings together.
Right.
I got my friend categories, and we did. And when we were done, News Central, I think it was, that asked, well, can we run it for a bit? And when we make money, we give you. I gave them. In fact, I'm going to ask them to start running them because they're still running them for free. And they never found sponsors till today. They're still
And
looking
your
for
money is
sponsors.
not there.
So, but again, I mean, for me, I was thinking about helping people again, and it has its role.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, what's most important is whatever medium you choose, you have to have some control about it, which is why I'm so glad about what's happening in the world today.
With YouTube
It's been
and-
democratized.
yes.
So, to that extent, people can do their work.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't have to earn money out of it immediately.
Right.
So I'm working on what I call my Hope podcast.
Because I was going to say,
I knew you're
that
coming
was
there.
what's coming
Hope
next.
podcast.
Okay.
So I mean,
what does hope stand for? Is it just hope, or is it an abbreviation for
hope
something?
is a verb.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Hope
Okay.
is a verb.
Right.
Hope is not something that you just, I hope.
It's active.
Hope is,
Yes. It's
hope
movement.
is, and my
yes.
life has shown that hope is action.
Right.
And I've learned,
Right.
you want to be the best at anything. I hope I'm going to be the best newscaster. How are you going to be the best
If
newscaster?
you don't do
If you don't
anything
go and
about
try,
it,
if you don't go and try,
absolutely.
we've got to redefine hope. How are we going to go get a great Nigeria if we don't hope
Yeah.
for what's best? And you can't keep on hoping. You want the best leader, you got to go out there and pick the person you want and
Right.
insist on getting the person you want.
Right.
We can't sit and
Or
fold our
being
arms.
the person that you want.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Be the one that doesn't throw trash on the floor, for example.
Yes. If in fact I said to my
Don't say,
husband,
okay, even if you say, oh,
all of us decide that as long as it's up to me, I will do better. In 1 year, we won't need policemen on the road anymore. 1 year, just close as 1 year, because we underestimate what can happen within 1 year.
Absolutely. That's utopia. Well, we can get it. I had to ask for my phone, guys.
Yes.
Don't worry. Because I will speak to what this baby has asked me. I had to be sure I'm saying the right thing. Because
Yeah.
quite frankly, if everybody can do better, the world
Yeah.
can be better.
Yeah.
It speaks to the hope I'm talking about. But one of the things, and I have about 378 points
Wow.
towards this, my hope already, 378. And this was point 374. John F. Kennedy that said, one person can make a difference.
Yes.
And everyone should try.
Yes.
You know, all you need is one person. Everyone should try. If all of us try, we can be better. We can take this world. We can make it a better place. Even though, as my faith teaches me, this world is not my home. I'm passing through.
It doesn't matter.
And there'll be persecutions and whatever. But as I'm passing through,
Can I make it beautiful whilst I'm passing through and make your dash notice?
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
that I look forward to the Hope program.
By God's grace.
Are you going to have guests on it, or is it just you speaking?
In fact, I'm having a meeting later about 2 today.
Okay. So
You see,
guys,
I'm not trying to do it myself.
Look out, guys, for the Hope podcast.
It's gonna happen.
You know, it's happening, and this is the first time you're hearing it.
The thing about age is that it's your own time. I've been thinking about it, but I thought, do it a bit differently. Talk to somebody who's done it before, get some people together and try and do it. So, I'm having a meeting at 2 towards that. And actually, I can say who I'm having the meeting with is Chude.
Okay.
A younger mentee that is now my mentor.
Exactly.
So I'm like, hey, Chude, how did you do this? You have to show me. So I'm having a meeting soon.
Oh, that's nice.
Some other lady that also was
works
part of
with
doing
him.
it together.
Okay,
So I'm just
okay.
trying to do something here.
Yeah, and I think it's important.
It is.
Hopefully, we get to see more people in your generation, because you're not that many that
Absolutely.
are active.
They should.
You know,
They
you
are
have
alive.
Auntie
All they need
Joke
to
as
do-
an actor. We have you. We have my mom. They're not that many. So we need more of you to come. Maybe more of you also need us to help you.
We need you.
Yeah.
We need you. Your mom has you. She's lucky.
She's so
we should-
fortunate.
maybe we should also pull out some people, and I should be thinking about something that will bring.
So maybe what we need to do is ask who within that industry, within that age, is interested in doing what, and then creating a support system for them.
Yeah.
People who want to do something. If you don't
Yeah.
want to do anything, then
Yes,
there's no
it's a
point.
point of
Let's
choice,
leave.
yes.
But the ones that really do, but are asking the same question, you're meeting Chude because you know him. Some people don't have a Chude that they can ask.
Absolutely.
But maybe if we then create a support system, because it's something I actually have been thinking about. So I'm saying it because it's something that I'm creating on the back end.
That's a good
because
one.
there's legacy. There's a lot of information. You mentioned history.
Yeah, go out. Yeah.
You know, so maybe we can look at it. It can be part of the Hope project.
Yes, it can.
We
be.
can partner and do
Oh,
something together.
girl,
Okay.
okay. I got you. I got you.
So we create a legacy
you.
project, but it's
Yeah.
something that I'm very excited about.
Fantastic.
You also launched something called Her.
Yes,
Happy, Empowered, and Rich.
Because I feel
Ooh.
that the best women are those who are happy, empowered, and rich.
Absolutely.
And rich is not just rich
Money.
in terms. You have to
Yes.
have
yes,
the money.
Because if you
And
don't have
but
money, how
can't-
can you do
You can't be
things?
rich if you are not happy. You can't be
Yes.
happy if you are not empowered.
Yes.
So it's a combination of things, which is
Yes.
why being the best that you can is very critical. The best that you can and bring it to other people to see and working with other people to do that. So we haven't had cohort 2. In fact, didn't you telling me this? I should have cohort 2.
We're going to do it.
I should have cohort 2.
Don't worry, I
We're
support
gonna
you.
please. I got you. You have 2 mummies. One big auntie and one mommy.
Yes, I will support you.
We went together. I mean, I like
Yes.
that. I wish the young ones would also like to learn to support, to reach out to. But the truth is, everybody's trying to make money. But if all of us come together, we end up making money. That's the truth.
So I have a different opinion, and if I think that
Money, and they want to be popular.
money is good,
Yeah.
But money that also has someone not been earned, you don't even use it well.
It won't stay.
It doesn't stay. And it's almost like, it's like when you give somebody advice that they didn't ask you, they don't appreciate it. It's the same thing with money. If the prerequisite value has not been exchanged for that cash, then it's not cool. And if you only do anything because of money, then you keep chasing money. And for as long as I know, all the people that chased money never found it.
No, even if
I
they
don't know
found it,
about
they were
other
never
people.
satisfied.
So they never held on to
never
it.
held on to it.
So I think it's important, and young people, like you said, even older people also need to be able to give. But I think young people also want to be able to support.
There's a lot to learn and there's a lot to give. We all just have to learn to give what we have, learn from those that have, and not be too ashamed to ask. That's what
like
happens
that.
all the time.
I like that. So aside all of this, who are you?
I am a bundle of energy.
Okay.
You see, I'm that kind of person that walks into a room and you will just never forget, because I bring the sun with me.
Right.
That's, this question you asked me, my daughter asked me recently, what gives you the greatest joy? Something like that. Because what gives you joy that defines you?
Yeah.
What gives me joy is helping other people be better or see something, that you've added something to somebody. Right, it gives me joy. Yes, it'd be great if they told me thank you.
Well,
Because that's feedback that means that what I've done is great. But feedback, being able to help others just gives me joy, because I am a free, fun-loving, and more intentional human being. I never was, to the chagrin of my husband, who's very
straight.
You know what I mean?
How did you? I'm sure sometimes my husband thinks, who sends me a message?
But now, after 37 years or 38 years together, he's realized, man, when are you going to retire?
Wow.
But I told him that's why you married me. Just don't realize it.
Yes.
But I need to be more intentional now in carrying him along with what I do, because he's a little more laid back. Then you had 9 to 5, all those kinds. Now he's, would I say semi-retired? But he's doing a lot of things that he enjoys, but he has more time in his hands. And there I am, flitting around still.
So how does that?
Should we save that for another conversation?
No. Let's just quickly touch it. How have you been able to do all these things and stay married and keep your marriage outside? Because I don't know, I might be under a tree, which is fine, but I've never heard anything derogatory about you or in the press about you that was negative, or even about your family majorly. So how have you been able to manage that?
Because I've just been me. My husband is a strategy consultant, management consultant, an engineer.
Right.
It was a different field. There I am, communication running all over the place. So we're not in the same field. So there was just no way you would see him and see me. He's quite good looking, by the way. Very young, So there was no need. I'm going out, doesn't have to go with me. If I recently that, I started saying, okay, please,
Let's
Mr.
go.
and Mrs.,
Okay.
let's go together. Because
Okay.
I realized that he didn't quite understand that you just be going out.
By
So, but
yourself?
people are used to inviting only me.
Yes.
They never
Because
really,
you're used to
because
showing
I'm
up by
used to showing
yourself.
up. So, but really, it's not right.
Right.
I had to call a friend of mine the other day and say, look, they sent me an invitation, Mrs. Onyenokwe. I said, look, I'm
Right.
married. There's a
Yes,
Mrs. there. So you should put
yes.
Mr. and Mrs.
Yes.
So I'm learning to educate people. So I would say the thing that has made me work, one thing, is the ability not to take myself too seriously, right? No matter how annoyed I am, which I get, and I take feedback. Maybe that's because of my field. Even if I find that my spouse doesn't understand me, right? It's painful, but I take time and I try to make him understand who I am. But we just never really had, our worlds were like this. Now our worlds are meeting.
Right.
And so I'm learning to
After
be
37
intentional.
years.
Yeah, our worlds are meeting. Our worlds were meeting at home.
Right.
They're meeting everywhere. But at
Right,
work, our
right.
worlds never met.
Yeah.
In fact, we're working on something together.
Oh, nice.
My Hope series to start with a series I'm working with him to do.
Oh, that's
right.
good.
So that's going to be interesting.
So it's learning, right?
It's learning. Constantly
in the different
learning.
phases.
Constantly learning. And being open to give and receive as you go along. Look, if one person knew it, what would be the world? Because our brains
Of
work
course.
now. We filter, we change. So the way you see it can never be the same way I see it. It can just be alike.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we should just learn to live and let live. Live and let live. But do what is right at every point in time. And what is right is not necessarily what is right for you is what's
Right.
good.
Right.
What's good?
Right.
Is it good? Does it
Right.
benefit everybody? Right? I mean, I can decide today, for example, let me take one simple thing, for example, that my husband and I have a back and forth. Men and women can be friends. I can believe men and women can be friends.
Absolutely, with nothing.
Yes,
of
but
course.
however, if you are in a communitary relationship with a belief like that, you've got to be sure that you have the boundaries within that friendship.
Right.
Because, there's no romantic relationship that doesn't start with a friendship, is there?
Oh, yeah.
Except it's a forced
One
relationship.
yes, or one time
So
thing.
you can understand
Yes,
how friendships
yeah.
can lead there. So,
Yeah.
but if you don't have boundaries,
Right.
So you got to be careful with
Right.
saying, "Oh, he's my friend" or "She's my friend."
Right.
So those are things that, as you grow older, whatever you learn,
Right.
try to share it.
Right.
So for me, that's a big lesson I've learned in recent times. Men and women can be friends, all right, but you have to learn to define
Your
friendships.
friendship. Oh, I like that. Because I'm also he's my friend kind of person.
No, that's
and
not-
there's no, and I just think that your friends can be your friends and you can keep your friends. Okay, so
There's a lot to learn.
you
There's
will
room for- look,
You will tell me that one
sweetheart.
later. I will ask you. What's the worst advice you have received before?
I can't remember.
What's the best advice you've
I
received?
can't remember either. Okay, the best advice I give myself, especially when it comes to speaking, which is one thing I think a lot of people have to learn, is that none of us came from heaven with it. When you train, you'll be good. Even I still get butterflies in my stomach, and I say it all the time. But you've learned that when the butterflies come,
They'll be flying.
breath can calm them down.
Yes.
And what I want to tell is important, and you just relax. So thinking that some people are such superstars and you can't be is the first place I think people must start. But thinking that you are a superstar when you have not paid the price, I beg you,
Is the worst
is the
place.
worst place to be.
So I want us to. I want you to close your eyes. We have a last ritual that we do. So just taking a deep breath in and breathe out. And one last time, breathe in and breathe out. And keep your eyes closed. It's 2040, 16 years from now. And there's a young girl sitting on the same chair that you're sitting on. And she's talking about how her interfacing with you and your work changed her life. How after she either listened to you, coached with you, trained with you, heard you somewhere, watched the trajectory of your life. And she's sitting down and she's telling us what you did. What would you want her to say?
I'm assuming that this girl is called Jane.
Okay, I like it. Jane, are you out there?
And I'm saying, Jane, what have you done with what you've learned? How many people have you carried along on that journey? For me, that's what's most critical. I thank you for all that you've taken, but how have you paid it forward? Please pay it forward if you haven't yet.
Nice, I like it. You can open your eyes. And lastly, I want you to thank yourself for all the great work that you have done so far.
Thank you to Adesuwa Onyenokwe for having allowed yourself to be used in the sphere that you chose to operate. Hopefully, you've milked everything that the good Lord has put in you. And for doing that, I say, thank you, Adesuwa.
Yeah. And so for all those who are listening, I want to first of all say thank you for this time. I really enjoyed it. And we have back-end conversation. If you're listening to us today, I just want you to know that you're not alone, okay? And you're not too late. You're not too early. You're just in the right place at the right time for you. And if you're looking for a community where you can feel like you belong, the FWIFT community is here for you.
FWIFT.
Well, yes.
FWIFT.
Well, yes, sisters, it's the Forum for Women in Film and TV and other medium or media. And you want to join us. Why? Because one of the things we do is we build ourselves up. We encourage one another. We celebrate one another. And we're there to support one another. So if you feel like, you're looking for a place where you can have all of these things, then FWIFT is the place for you. This, as you know, is the Green Room Diaries. And my name is Adeola Kingsley James. Love and lights. Mwah.